Her father slid the envelope across the table as if he were handing out alms. "We think this is best for everyone," he said with a strained smile. "You've had your little adventure, but our daughter deserves someone who can actually match her level." I didn't touch it. Lena blinked, confused. "Dad, what is this?" Her mother stepped in quickly. "It's nothing personal, sweetheart. We just feel it's time you moved past fairy tales. My name is Ethan Shaw. I've been married to Lena Stursmanis for 3 years. She's always seen me as the quiet guy with a regular tech job who likes inexpensive coffee and lives simply. She has no idea that I'm the silent co-founder of the exact company where her father sits as a director, and that for the past 5 years, every decision he's made has first gone through my approval. I requested this dinner. I chose this table. I expected this envelope. I opened it. Inside, a check for $500,000. The price to walk away from Lena. I looked up slowly. Her parents watched me, already mapping out her future, as if I were a minor, erasable detail. I folded the check, slipped it back inside, and slid the envelope back across the table, unopened. Lena's eyes darted between me and her parents. What the hell is going on? Her father didn't flinch. "Security, darling. This man is not your future. He's just a phase." Lena looked like she'd been struck. I stayed silent. I wanted to see their true colors. No polish, no restraint. Tonight they showed everything. "Take the check," her mother said, turning to me. "Start fresh. We'll even help you relocate." I let out a short breath, almost a laugh. "Do you really think I married Lena for money?" Her father leaned forward. "I think people like you, who come from nothing, always find their way to women like my daughter." "People like me." I smiled, then turned to Lena. "I didn't want to tell you this way. I never cared about impressing them. I only ever wanted you to love me for who I really am." "What are you talking about?" she asked quietly. I pulled a business card from my jacket and placed it on the table. Her father's eyes flickered when he saw the logo. "Our company." I nodded once. "I've held 49% since before you were even made director." The room turned ice cold. The silence after those words felt like surgery. Lena stared at me, torn between laughter and tears. Her father went completely pale. "You're lying," he muttered. I raised an eyebrow. "Want me to quote the incorporation articles or remind you who signed off on your latest bonus package?" His mouth opened, but no sound came out. Lena picked up the card, turning it over in disbelief. 49%. Her mother gave a nervous laugh. "That's impossible. You're nobody." "Nobody?" I asked gently. "Barista." "Nobody." "That's what you saw, because that's exactly what I let you see." I looked back at Lena. I stayed quiet because I wanted one part of my life that wasn't defined by leverage, by wealth, by people who believe love comes with an invoice. Her father finally spoke again. "If this is true, then why come here at all?" I met his gaze. "To see who you really are when you think I'm beneath you." He stood, fists clenched. "You humiliated us." "No," I said, rising. "You did that to yourselves." Then I looked at Lena. "Ready to leave?" We walked out in silence. Lena didn't speak until we were halfway home. "You were going to keep this from me forever." I glanced at her. "No, but I wasn't going to tell you in the middle of dinner while your father tried to buy me off like a summer intern." She looked away. I don't know what to feel. "Start with the truth," I said. "You married a man who builds in silence, who doesn't need to flash money to prove his worth." She was quiet for a long time, then softly. "You let me believe we were barely getting by." "We weren't," I said. "I just wanted a real relationship, not a performance." Later that night, her father called twice. I let both go to voicemail. Then came the email. One line, "We need to talk. This concerns the board." There it was. He had finally connected the dots. Because I'm not just a co-owner. I hold the core patent on the software that drove their billion-dollar valuation. And unlike his impressive titles, my name is actually on the legal documents. They tried to erase me with a check. Now they were learning the cost. Power doesn't always roar. Sometimes it simply waits until it's forced to speak. The next board meeting was Thursday. I didn't confirm attendance. I arrived early, not in a suit, but in the same plain gray sweater that they'd always mocked when I picked Lena up from their events. I wanted them to recognize me not as a stranger, but as the man they tried to dismiss. The moment I stepped into the glass conference room, the air pressure dropped. Her father sat at the head, already ashen. 2 directors whispered. The head of legal looked like he'd swallowed glass. I took the empty seat at the far end. They waited for me to speak. I didn't. Instead, I opened my folder and placed a single page in front of me, the original founder's agreement, my signature, the first investor's signatures. The document proving not only my 49%, but the veto clause her father had conveniently overlooked. The meeting proceeded. I let them go through the formalities. Then, right as they reached the vote on the major acquisition, the one her father had already promised to shareholders, I calmly raised my hand. Veto. The room froze. I leaned back. Shall we talk now? Her father's voice was tight. Ethan, this acquisition is strategic. We've already announced it. You announced it, I corrected, without consulting a co-founder, without a board vote, and definitely without checking Clause 17.3. The legal counsel shifted uncomfortably. He knew I was correct. One of the directors leaned in. This could put us in breach of investor disclosure rules. I didn't smile. Revenge wasn't the goal. The goal was to remind them that the man they tried to pay off was the same man who safeguarded the company's foundation when they still didn't understand two-factor authentication. I'm not here to sink the ship, I said. I'm here to steer it. Her father clenched his jaw. You're making this personal. No, I replied. You did, the moment you pushed that envelope across the table and tried to trade your daughter's life for your sense of control. Silence followed until a younger board member finally spoke. Maybe it's time we stop treating Mr. Shaw as a threat and start treating him as a partner. I stood. Good, because starting tomorrow, I'm no longer your silent partner. I'm stepping into the light. The press release dropped Monday at 9 a.m. Ethan Shaw named co-CEO of Linhart Global following strategic board restructuring. That evening, Lena met me on the rooftop, the same one where we once talked about dreams bigger than rent and instant noodles. She leaned against the railing, staring at the skyline. You really never planned to tell me? She asked softly. I stood beside her. Not until I was certain you loved me for the man, not the name. She smiled faintly, still the quiet one. I shook my head. Not anymore. Behind us, the lights of our company glowed across the high-rise glass. No longer just his. No longer hidden. I didn't need to shout to arrive. I simply waited until the silence belonged to me.